It is the Welcome to Cooperville podcast and live from the Twitch quarantine sessions. So we're live on Twitch right now with my brother from another mother. We've lifted heavy microphones together at one point in our lives. Mr. Rick DeJesus from Adelaide is away. How you doing, my brother?
Feel great. How are you?
Dude, you know, we're making the best of the current status of the globe at this point.
Oh, totally. You know, look, at the end of the day, it's about staying safe. We're getting to spend some time with our families. We're getting to learn a little different way of living, and we can make the best of it. As ready as I am to get back to life as we know it, it feels like it's going in the right direction, right?
I feel like there's the winds of change have blown through, and there's a little more like positivity about things. There's a little more optimism. Obviously, some places are opening up, but it's been a weird. It's a weird time to. I want to say be alive, but
I get it. It's happened. This has happened during our lifetime.
Right. Like nobody else, the people that experienced this in their life they didn't have the internet. They lived in the Black Plague, man. They had to be secluded in like candlelight and, psoriasis.
And they just weren't anywhere near as advanced as us. I mean, look, when the Spanish flu hit, there was like 15 to 20 million deaths. I mean, we're in a very good place as far as this being a pandemic, right? I mean, you don't want to lose anyone, but the numbers comparably to what it could be and what it once was, we all have to sit here and feel grateful for science, grateful for God, grateful for medicine. Great, at the end of the day, we've come to a really, as humanity, we've come to a really great place as far as how much knowledge we have and how we're able to handle these things. I mean, look, like I said, the Spanish flu came, 15 million people died. Yeah. We've been able to narrow it down to I believe the number, I don't know the exact death toll, but I believe it's under 100,000, correct?
Yeah. It's been adjusted recently because there were some changes in cause of death from COVID-19 to the actual flu. Yeah, a little bit.
But don't you think it's weird, all these reports you're hearing that they're encouraging doctors to say COVID-19 death? That's weird to me. I mean, I'm not going to get too into politics of it. I don't want to be banned from any I don't want anyone after me, whatever, but I just find it odd that that's a thing.
Yeah, it was it feel like all the other styles of death or ways, causes of death disappeared for a month. Like nobody died of anything except
everyone died from COVID. Yeah, no one got hit by cars anymore.
No, cancer was cured. Everything else was like, all right, well, that was obviously COVID. Clearly the guy.
Well, you think there's a report coming out that they're incentivizing doctors $10,000 and then like $30,000 per ventilator per death, like all these weird stats, and it's like money in my life hasn't come that easy. No one's ever come up to me in a side alley and say, Rick, I'll give you 39 extra grand if you do this, you know what I mean? So it's just it's odd that that's a thing. It's odd that reports are coming out about that. I find it weird.
Yeah. And it feels like there's like the fear has lifted about COVID a little bit. Like people feel a little more open, like maybe breaking some of the rules that have been put in place. And then all of a sudden it's like, now we have killer hornets invading the East Coast.
Oh, those things ain't coming to Nevada. We don't got to worry about them. They kill bees. I like bees. Bees, though, they die very easily. They sting you once. They drop to the ground. The killer hornets are just giving them the inevitable. But I will say, back to everyone getting back to normal with COVID, it's because people realize there's also been like 1 million cases cured, 1 million bounce backs. And when you realize that you have it's just like the flu. You realize you have a chance to get it, bounce back, move on with your life. You're almost just ready to face the fire at that point, right? We've been 50 days in to quarantine. We're still holding strong, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's you got 1 million cases cured out of like 1.1 million cases in the States or something like that, right? I mean, it's just I don't know the numbers exactly, but they don't scare me enough to stop living this beautiful life. I don't know. Right,
but you live it up though, man. I mean, you guys, the band's doing great things. They're, finding different ways to get out and get into, and you've always been a front runner at that, at getting out and developing new technologies or finding new ways to have the band be in front of people, never losing that relationship that you have with your fans.
It's all about the fans. It's all about the fans combined with the quality of that we're delivering, the quality of songs, the quality of music, the performance. We believe in our live show, and obviously every week we got to get better. It pushes you when you're recording yourself live through a board and you can hear every note. It pushes you to be better as an artist. And this whole quarantine has made me a better singer. It's made the guys better players. I'm obviously not in tour shape, but I go out there and try to put it on them every night, like I am. Another thing is we're the first and only band I know right now, besides maybe Metallica, that's putting on full band live streams on the internet. And I'm proud to be at the front of that. I'm proud to be at the innovation of that. We are always looking to be at the forefront. And I think first and foremost, you have to have the fans that are going to show up, and you have to be able to go and to deliver the performance and the songs. And I think, quite frankly, there could be some bands out there that just aren't feeling the confidence in the ability to go and put on a weekly live right there, uncut, unfiltered stream for the world to see, because you could be exposed as well.
And you have it. I mean, and I've always admired this about you, and you and I have had lengthy conversations about this. Rick took control of his band, of his livelihood, of his career, of every entity that came in and out of what the band was doing and what you're doing, and has always been, fearless seems like an understatement, but a lot of these other artists, I got to imagine that it's maybe not just them having that fear. It very well could be that there's a manager, there's a label, there's somebody else that's saying, you know what, I don't know that this is such a great idea. I don't think that you should do this.
Having too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen can stop you from just being forward thinking and being able to move. A big thing for us is we move. I move. If I feel something, I move on it. If I want to go in the studio, I do it. If I want to write a song, I do it. And it's helped us create more content, better content than ever. And I love trying to be innovative. Again, we're at the forefront of owning our rights too. I truly believe that a lot of artists are going to end up taking the route that I took. I just took it a little bit sooner. I actually hope they do, because it's a dream come true to be able to have so many amazing fans, be able to control your livelihood, be stress-free in a sense of when you own your work, you own your creations, a lot of great doors open up, and we're very proud to be at the forefront of that as well. At the forefront of streaming, at the forefront of owning our masters and all of our rights to all of our music that we created. It definitely took a lot of risk, but I truly believe it's just more. You're going to see more and more artists heading towards where we've been for the past 5 years already. We own over 160 million streams independently on our songs, and that's with and without support from various tastemakers. So it just shows you that the fans are the biggest tastemaker that matter. I've been grateful to have great radio support from you and from so many amazing programmers who truly love music over the years. It's helped us be rooted in the communities, but streaming, Spotify, the ability for people to go out and discover music at an alarming rate has done nothing except help our band. We've gotten right in the wave flow of how great music discovery is right now, without a cumulus or someone trying to be this tastemaker where they're only letting 5 out of 50 records in, or they're going to tell you the 5 coolest songs. Well, people aren't narrowing it down to just 5. People want to hear new music any way they can. So we're happy to be in the waves of the current state and future of this music industry and the ownership of your rights and your music.
I gotta feel like, Rick, you get calls like there's other artists that reach out to you and say, man, we're just, they're under the thumb, they're feeling that same thing, and they feel like they got a great song, and they feel like they not have to wait for it to be on a record and the label. Of course,
and it's my job to just help encourage those guys and help them feel comfortable taking back their lives, or even help them feel comfortable having something or trying something that's going to change their lives for the better. For me, whenever any artist calls me to ask me questions, I give them nothing but guidance, and I try to really be pay it forward. I try to really just let them know how much it's changed my life, how much freedom it's given me to be the artist that I always knew I could become, and I'm still striving to be. And it just really opened up the floodgates to the potential and the possibilities for a life as an artist and a life as a musician for me and my family. So whenever I do get a lot of calls from artists, and whenever I do get that call, all I can do, I can't force them across the finish line. I can't tell them what to do. I can't be the leader of the resistance. They have to take it under their own accountability, and they have to make the call themselves. All I can do is encourage them, let them know how we've done it, let them know the success we've had, pay it forward, and help in any way that I can.
You know, I love that. I love that there's a certain that level of openness and being like, hey, here's how we did it. Here's the one thing that, in my view of you, Rick, and of the band, is it takes not just that avenue. You are, and if you haven't listened to Adelaide's Way and listened to the music, if you don't find the drive that lives inside of each and every lyric that is written, this is, the accomplishments that you have gotten because of the control you've taken. You are one of the most driven people I've ever spoken to. I mean, there is not an ounce of quit in you. And
hard work pays off. I want to show that to the kids, to my kids, to every generation, to other artists, to younger artists, to artists that are currently in my position or currently, we're in the position I was in. I was coming off of selling 1 million singles, couple 100,000 records, number one hits, touring on the biggest tours. I was broke. So, and when this industry is done with you, they want you to believe that they can just throw you in the garbage and you're done. You got to go be flip burgers is what they would say, which I don't think there's anything bad with flipping burgers. If you're flipping burgers, hard work is hard work.
Right.
But I want to stand for hard work a lot, and I want to motivate people, and I want to be a good energy, and I want to use the message that I can for the best possible things I can. Obviously, I have a whole career of songs. You hear many different Ricks over 11 years of making records, but I want the message that I spread with my music to be motivational, to be lifting, to be uplifting, to put you in a mood, to put you in a vibe, to put you in love, to make you feel any form of positive. At the end of the day, I'm going to write a song about it, but I'm a soldier of God, man. I try to be the best that I can be while I'm still learning and bettering myself.
Yeah, I have a whole enough to run 13.2 miles. I have a whole playlist of Adelaide's Way songs.
Yeah, I like that.
Because every and again, like you talked about, there's many different elements. There's songs about different things, but I can pick out enough music over your 11-year career to fill enough time to run basically a half marathon of all stuff that's like, yeah, I'll show you what it takes. Yeah,
it's for people who mean what they say. Dude, I mean every word I say in those songs. I mean
absolutely.
It. When I say what it takes, I believe it. I mean it, and it's to help everyone else who believes in themselves and means it too. When you're pushing past mile 13, not everyone can do mile 13. When I sing what it takes, I believe it. I believe it. That's what I believe that I am, and my tenacity for everything. Competitive career. The way I love, I mean, it's just, I believe the lyrics that I sing,
and
and I can own up to them.
You know what I love is you and your relationship with your fans, and if you don't see it in the live show, you're not watching the live show. You're not watching the right live show, because there's a connection there. And the first time I ever saw you guys perform live, and I was already a fan, and this was early on. This is probably 9-10 years ago, I think, the first time that you and I connected. Now maybe 8-9, and just this energy that you can feel in the air between you as a performer and the audience. They're just being a part of what you have going on the stage, and
that's what both of us are there for,
dude.
That's what I'm there for. That's what they're there for. It's a mission accomplished, if you ask
me,
right?
And that's the hugest win. But
it is the hugest win.
The thing about the thing about you, the difference between you and a lot of the other acts I see that maybe can toe the line a little bit on that, is that after you're done giving what I would consider to be 120% of yourself during that live show, and this was 8 years ago at Rockfest. It's 98 degrees outside, probably the hottest day we've ever had in the state of Wisconsin. To you, it's like Tuesday. But yeah. So I see you throw this show down and kill it, and you're in the crowd, you're crowd surfing. It's just energy. It's beyond anything I've seen before. And then you'll go and meet every single one of your fans. That line was ridiculously long. You met every fan that was out there. And it wasn't your standard like, hey, cool picture, da da da. You could feel like you are attentive to that individual during their time up there. It was
it's all about the fans. You never know whose life you could change. You never know who needs to feel love, or needs to feel hear the words you're saying. You never know. You don't want to make yourself, I don't treat it like, oh, this is the moment. I just try to treat every fan with heart-to-heart hug, love, connection in the music, spread my light, and also too continue to prove that we're the real deal. If you can look at someone up and close and personal and be right here face to face with them and feel what they're about, and feel they know that what I'm singing is real. Those fans that are waiting there, they feel it. They can still feel it off me when they're close to me, and I want to just continue to bring that to people. And I think it's important to appreciate your fans, and I think it's important for the journey. It's part of the journey I like too. I'm not here to go and have everyone connect with my music or fall in love with my songs and then ignore them or hide on a bus or do whatever is known to be done. I just don't see it. I like having that connection with the fans. The fans make all your dreams come true. They make everything possible. First and foremost, you want to you want to walk the line a little bit. I mean, I guess a lot of my life they could say some of my music is a bit rebellious, a little bit of a rebel, but it's always very important for me to be a good role model. When I meet kids, when I meet children, show respect for mothers, women, just people who served our military, just everyone. When you come across humans, you gotta show that you're grateful as well, that you have respect and you have love. And for me, we've got to meet so many amazing fans over the years, so many great supporters of our music. At this point, it's undeniable. I don't care what opinion anybody in the industry or when you're on your first record or second record and Troy Hansen says that band sucks, it hurts your feelings. But when you've been around for 11 years, or when Wimmer leaves you off every festival, or you kind of feel like, oh, I'm out of the cool kids club or whatever emotionally you're looking to fulfill. But at this point in my career, 11 years in, over 400 million streams on our songs, 160 million independently. Yep. It doesn't matter what one single person says about us. We're a proven entity. We're undeniable. We have amazing fans, and I sleep better every night knowing that that's the case for the past 4 or 5 years of my life. I don't lose a wink of sleep over my job.
That is in all aspects of life, because I think there's a lot of key things that even I have learned in the last year of being out of radio about, it's self-development, self-improvement, reading a lot, understanding how much, people's opinion can be a factor in how you determine your life. And I think it seems like you at a long, maybe not a long time ago, but you have found a point that you stopped giving and stopped living your life for other people. You started living your life for Rick and your family.
Makes you a better artist too. I've become a better artist just being able to go in the studio and do what I want and not worry about any format or anything. I just go in, I do what I want. If someone says, oh, this sounds like this, I just I made it. It is what it is. I made every Adelita's Way song that exists on 6 albums, plus some demos, plus some side songs. Like, it is what it is. I made it. It is where it is. I'd also like to just shout out all the people surrounding me. The reason that I'm able to dive into what you said. It's important to be able to self-improve. It's important to be able to kind of find out where you're lacking or where you could be better without too much pressure. But I surround myself with people, from my wife to my friends, that I really think are very knowledgeable. They add to the well-roundedness of the potential for myself and for even themselves. Like I just want to say that, like you said, when you're focusing on self-improvement and you're able to identify what could be better, that's a lot of the part of growing. If you just think that you have no room to grow, you will not continue to grow. And I think that's what's so great about life and everything. You can learn something tomorrow that you didn't know today if you put the time and energy into it. And I do find myself taking that on as a challenge constantly.
Do you feel like during that journey, because I've gone through this, when you go through those kind of that kind of growth, and you learn about the people that you surround yourself with, and you learn about you're the sum of like the 5 closest people in your life, did you find at a juncture during your career that there were individuals that you had to, I want to let go sounds so.
Oh yeah.
That you had to kind of be like, you know what, it's time for me to level up, I guess, is the hip
totally.
Kids
thing. But the good thing about my situation is I feel blessed. I'm grateful. My core has always been just these amazing people. From my wife to my family to Trevor's been in the band with me for a long time. He's very, very just has a great mindset, a great energy, a great work ethic. Just so many. I'm very complimentary of all the guys in the band. Tavis, Andrew, Trevor. I'm just lucky to surround myself with great people from my band all the way out to my family. And I think when you have that center, that core, it's pretty easy to trim the hedges. It's pretty easy to I can find someone if they're being cancerous or if they're doing what you were kind of saying, they need to be exiled. Like I'm a pretty stern exiler, and I could drop the hammer.
But you're also a great. I've noticed it because I've watched your lives that you do on Facebook, but you are able to bring this connection, and this is maybe more artist to fan, but you are you are a real human being, and I think that's something that in the industry, and I know artists who are this way. They don't feel like they're real to the people that maybe pay for the tour bus. You know what I mean? They're on the stage, and the stage is done, and the lights go out, and the band moves on. There's no
some of those guys
connection.
Could feel empty. They could feel unfulfilled. They could live their dreams out and feel unfulfilled, right? I mean, you could have everything you ever asked for and feel unfulfilled if you're living it that way. And I wish I could say I had more friends in other bands. Like we just don't seem to connect ever, really. I would say the only the 2 people I've ever got to connect with outside of full bands, I would say Theory of a Dead Man is a full band. We've got just a great connection with as human beings, and I really care for those guys. Me and Aaron Lewis from Stained have had a pretty, it could be considered odd, but I feel it's a pretty special rapport over years. I've spent a lot of time with Aaron, and I got love for him, and I've listened to some of the wisdom that he's told me when I was a young artist, and it kind of stops there. Honestly, there are a lot of guys who do the performance, and they go on the bus. You never see them again, and a lot of those guys could be living the biggest dream in the world and feeling unfulfilled because it's all about the fans. I could tell you that over and over again. How can you feel fulfilled when you don't truly know the people that are supporting you, or truly know the people you're connecting with that are listening to your songs, and you're changing their lives, or you're changing their day, or you're changing their minute? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a life change. It just has to be a mood, right?
Yeah, because a lot of, especially from a fan level, from a fan perspective, that one moment in time, that one 10, 15, 30-second moment that they get with somebody who wrote a song or sung a song that changed something in their life, or gave them hope, or took them out of a bad situation or out of a toxic relationship. You go up and you anticipate this moment because you have all this adoration for this person that wrote something that spoke to you in a certain manner that changed, changed your life. I mean, maybe it was a life or death thing, and you get that moment, and it turns out to be more detrimental than it does positive. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen too. And honestly, I probably have been a part of it happening. Everybody has their days, right? I mean, everyone has days where they just feel a little off, but for me, my willingness to be there for that position, to put myself in that position, you can't take that away from me. I'm always willing to sit there and put myself in front of the fans and engage with them. Like I said, everyone has their days. If you're out there and you're meeting your fans and you're a little under the weather, you're having an off day or whatever, and somebody doesn't get that magical spark they were hoping to get when they see you, that is what it is. That's life. But I think being there and putting yourself in the position to meet them goes a long way. Yeah. Are you a routine guy? Do you, especially during these weird times that we're living in, where everything is kind of it's off center a little bit? Are you a routine guy? Do you have a structure you like to keep with your day? As far as like, do you have a morning routine? Are you, what's like, how do you flow throughout the course of the day? I'm sure it's different.
I like to flow, relax, kind of doing whatever we want. I mean, without sounding like, I like to be very relaxed. I like my life the way it is. We kind of wake up and I get on a routine, when normalcy's here. Yeah, we tend to go to the gym the same time every day together. We tend to spend 2, 3, 4 hours in the gym every day together. You do find yourself in a routine when life's normal, but during this quarantine, I've had a tough time locking myself into a strict workout regimen. I've been focused more on my vertical jumping and my core to be ready for performances, but I don't really like the shape I've been in for putting on the kind of intense show that I like to put on, even on the live streams. I feel like if when I leave those shows, I feel motivated to kind of put more into my workouts. I just do the basics every day. I jump rope, I stretch, I push-ups, I do lunges, I do squats. I'm very obsessed with my vertical jump right now. I play basketball. Yeah, I love basketball. I'm a baller. I play hard. I put a lot of hours under the court, and during this quarantine, jumping higher has been definitely a focus in my workout. So I've been doing a lot of plyometrics and jump exercises, but I could be working out harder. Today I was in the car thinking to myself, what are the other guys in the league doing? Are they working harder than I am over the break? Like, probably. Right. It's just something I need to tell myself to maybe step it up, and push it another notch.
But you got a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, I know you're doing a lot of stuff with the house, and you got the kids, and there's 35 million things going on, during this.
I usually can handle them all, though. I can throw them all on my back.
Right? Just, you just carry them all around. It's like, it's a monkey. You got birds and dogs and partridges and pear trees, and man. But
I like to be built for all that, man. I like to be, in the weird grand scheme of things. And this is without taking a personal. I'm not getting personal to anyone, because I want everyone to do great. I want everyone to be at their best, but I'm like the anti monster.
Right.
I like to view myself as the good guy. If the world took a turn and you put a sword in my hand, I think I would do a lot of good things. So when I listen to some of the music out these days, I feel like there's a lot of negative connotations, a lot of maybe trying to put people into a depression, or lyrically trying to drive people into feeling down. That's why top 40 music doesn't bug me, because whatever lifts people up and makes them feel good, I like it. I want people to feel their best. So, but I feel like in rock needs another guy like me, who can fight against some evil. I'd like to see myself as a good guy, and you don't want to use the word hero, because there's only one man that's like a Superman. But if there was an Avengers, I'd like to think I would land on the concrete and add to that team of other guys who want to fight for the greater good, right?
And I agree with that wholeheartedly, especially with your music in particular, just because I have found that kind of positivity and that kind of drive and that kind of energy and that kind of go towards the good, be better, do better, even with a little bit of edge to be like, remember all those people that said I couldn't do this? I'm going to go and do that because that's what it takes.
But, of course, I had a chip on my shoulder for years. Yeah. I mean, for years and years and years, for my whole career, 11 years, I've had to hear, all the people everyone praises, all the tastemakers in our industry, like they always just, it was never coming easy to us, if I could put it into that word, right? It was never just like, oh yeah, they love you, So I feel like for the first 7 years of my career, I had this chip on my shoulder, and I'm like, any challenger, man, step up. I'll show you. I take on all comers, which I still have that mentality. If I'm training basketball and someone walks into the gym and says, you want to get it, I'm like, check ball. You know what I mean? Like, show me what you got. And that comes with just about anything. Right. Any sport, any activity, any mixed martial arts, boxing. If someone walks up to me and says, step in the boxing ring, I'll toast you. I'll say, put the gear on. Yeah. Put the gear on and let's see if you can cash that check. I prepare. I've been how many sessions have you done this week? I'm 5 in. Right. So with that said, I had a chip on my shoulder for years. It's gone. Right. It's long gone off me. I have no chip. I feel grateful. I feel blessed. I don't walk around with this. I'm under appreciated mentality. I feel just very grateful for the position that I'm in, and I feel very, very blessed.
There was a great book that I read last year by David Goggins, and in his book he was a former Marine. He was a Marine, not a Marine. He was a Navy SEAL. Went on to do Marine Ranger training, Army Ranger training, Special Forces. Just dude was an absolute beast in the military, and came from a background that was not really conducive to being successful in anything. And he talked about kind of those same things about not having a chip on your shoulder, but when you are in, and he puts it in more because he does, the 100-mile decathlon thing, just like crazy running experience, running events. And he goes, when you get to a point where you're out of that gas that you can internally put into yourself, he's like, you dig into what we call the cookie jar. And the cookie jar is where you keep, and it's under a seal. But when you need to open that thing up and you need to find a little bit of extra oomph to get you through that next mile, he's like, you reach in there and you go, there was that one person, and I'm going to look at them. I'm going to feel this person in my vision right now when I'm running. And I'm going to think that person said I couldn't accomplish this. And that,
I have quite a few of those, totally.
Yeah. And that gives you that extra accelerant to get through things. And I've adapted that. Can't Hurt Me is the name of the book. It's fantastic.
But, it can even be a positive too, man. Yeah. It can even be, for me, when I look at what other artists are doing, there's some great artists out there, and there's some artists out there that can really motivate you to elevate your game. And there's some in our genre. I've got to tour with Shinedown, Brent Smith. He's a very motivating figure, very talented individual. And when we got to tour with those guys, I was a younger artist. I always wanted to be more in the realm of what he's doing than kind of gravitating towards the darkness or darker side of things, right? So I just really think that can go both ways. You could find that face that maybe I could find a guy at a festival who in a big band that snubbed me or whatever, and you can hold on to that, or you can look at some of your peers who are really delivering constantly great songs, great messages, great performances, and you can think about that when you're trying to reach into the cookie jar. Like, where do you want to fall, right?
Right. Who were the first, like when you were growing up and you remember music finding its way into your life, who were the artists? Like, what was the music that really gave you that alleyway to say, this is, I like this. Like, this could be my thing. This could be my avenue. I'm not going to go in this direction. I'm going to gravitate towards music. Do you remember those artists, like who they were that really put that fire inside of you before you got into to doing this as a career?
Yeah. It breaks my heart a little bit, that question, because a lot of the artists that I grew up in my room playing video games or I was listening to the records, and Sadly, a lot of them have taken their own lives. Chester from Linkin Park, Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, loved Audio Slave, a band that probably one of my favorite bands of all time. But I've always been generally more of a songs guy. I always loved Foreigner. I mean, whatever was the hits going on. I remember my friends used to make fun of me because there'd be like a just any hit song, any hip hop song, I'd be listening to it. I liked it, I love songs. I appreciate great melodies, great songs. I appreciate just great music in general, no matter where it came from. So I was a multi-genre. I listen to R&B coming up, hip hop, rock, everything. And I think that bleeds over into our music too. I don't really just see us just as solely an active rock band. I think we have a little bit of all the flavors of the music I grew up listening to, and everything that I'm connected to comes out when I create too. So, but I would say that the 90s for me was definitely full of a lot of Stone Temple Pilots and Soundgarden and God rest all those guys. I pray for Chris and Chester and Scott and it really bums me out all the time when I think about that.
I've been having a lot of time, lately during this and found myself kind of diving down the rabbit holes into like specific things I remember growing up, and STP was a huge one. I think as far as the 90s go, just listening to Core and listening to Purple and like the whole, like all the record all the way through,
hit songs, just such hits,
one after another, and even like the cuts that didn't make radio. I'm like, God, that was this the voices and the melody, and it was music that you like felt. You felt it, and I feel that way.
Well, you're not going to get it anywhere else except from those guys. You're not going to get it if Scott's not giving it to you. You're not going to get it. If Chris isn't making it up, it's not going to happen. If Chester's not singing those melodies and doing those screams, there's nowhere to get it. There's no emulation. And that's very, very important, I think.
Yeah.
It's you can only get it at one place, and it'll never be there again.
I think about Linkin Park too, is as a band, and you kind of mentioned this, that there's, even though you are an active rock band, that there's so much more to it than that. There's so many more influences that flow into that. And I think Linkin Park, right along those same lines, and how they've evolved. They evolved over the course of their careers and up until when Chester passed. And
I was always proud of their evolution.
I was
always proud when artists evolve and they make a record that just sounds like the record they wanted to make. I'm always proud of them. And honestly, an important part, no matter what, if you make a record that sounds exactly like the last one you made or sounds completely fresh, you have to have hits.
Right.
If you don't have hits, it doesn't. If you make a record that you want to make and it's so different and it sounds so fresh and it has a hit on it, it'll change the game.
Right.
If you don't have the hit on it, it'll be considered a stiff. So you can go in the studio, you can try different things, you can be bold, it just has to come with making sure that there's hits, that people are connecting. The majority are connecting.
Yeah. There's going to be the outspoken minority that has their 2 cents they like to put in, and usually that's via social media, and we all have to deal with that kind of shit. But so having all this time at home, and I know, like I said, you've got projects going on, you got a bunch of things going on, but being at home with the wife and the kids, I mean, has this been like because you're a doer, man, you're a go-getter, and I know you still are at home. Has this been I don't want to say a blessing in disguise, but to have that time with the kids, who are beautiful in the background, and I've seen them on your Facebook Lives playing with birds and singing. It's just been amazing. Has this been a great experience for you, just because you have to, not be out doing your craft, not be out doing what you love doing in your career, but having this time to spend with the ones closest to you? Has this been good for you? It feels like
we're on cruise control here with love. Yeah. I feel the kids, they grow up too fast.
Yeah.
Having 50 straight days every minute of the day with them, you can pick out the little things that you could complain about, right? But I don't focus on those things. There are so many moments in here, so many memories we're creating, and it honestly shows that life's better than ever. When you can do 50 days in quarantine with your wife and 2 kids, and you're waking up every day, just feeling like you're living the good life, and you're blessed and you're grateful for it. It is an amazing thing. It's very, I don't want to say enlightening, because I already always try to appreciate those things, but you know, I'm a touring artist. I tour a lot. This could be time that I'm away from my kids. They're just getting to know me better through this time, and I'm getting to know them better through this time. And I'm enjoying it outside of the school teaching, which my wife's doing the majority of anyway. This has been a pretty smooth sailing quarantine, and we're just looking forward to getting back to our jobs and getting back to normalcy.
So when the chains come off, when they open the gates, and they won't do it, you know, it won't be a full on, everybody's out, you know, the dog is let off the chain, and you can run and gun and do what Adelaide is the way does the best, and that's just go and kick ass, you know, on a touring level and release great music. When you guys get back to the next level of normalcy and you're able to go out and tour, I mean, I'm imagining the energy in two different ways. The fans who have been deprived of live music, and I think the appreciation that has grown because of the fact that they couldn't see a show. I know you guys were scheduled here.
You don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Yeah. I know you guys had a date up here last month, and obviously didn't happen, but
we don't have no one holding us back. So we're going to be at the forefront when this opens up. When this opens up, we're going to be one of the first bands on the road promoting our record. We got new releases coming. Shine On is a new singles dropping in a couple weeks, the first week of June, I believe. And then we have a whole record that's going to come out. We're going to do it very, very strategically the way we release it. You know, we're going to make sure we do our part with Apple and Spotify as part with the pre-orders. And then also we're going to make sure we drop tracks for our fans, which is our number one priority, is the fans. It's a fantastic record. I can't wait for everyone to hear it. But when everything opens up, when the chains are off, we're going to get right back to work. We're going to be one of the first bands out, because we don't have to answer to anyone. We just go and do it. And we got a record that we got to promote. And I got a backyard that I got to finish. So
it looks beautiful. I've seen it. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. It's getting there. Wait do you see the end result? My wife's a fantastic designer. So when the end result comes, it's gonna blow you away.
So that first moment, stepping onto the stage after your first show, post quarantine, rabid fans ready to just let however many months of pent up energy loose. I mean, can you? I know I've seen you have those feelings on a stage in front of 25,000 people before at Rockfest. That feeling, I'm trying to imagine if anything, that moment, no matter what spot it's in, what venue it's in, what city it's in, that moment of, I can't even fathom that ball of energy.
I'll be ready for it.
Oh man,
I'll be prepared for it. I'll be ready. I'll be well stretched. I'll be well prepared. I'll be looking forward to it, and it's going to add to that moment. We're ready to go out and put the best performances of our careers on, and it just gets better with the amount of reps we have. That gets better with our experience. That gets better with the shape that we're in this point of our career. With the gear, we've completely upped our gear for this next tour coming out. We've got so much tech side of things that have improved. It's just going to be we're just I hate saying this, but I'm going to. We're just getting started. Adelita's Way is just getting started. I know we've been around 11 years. We've done hundreds and hundreds of shows, maybe thousands. I don't even know at this point. I just go out and play. But I will tell you this: we're hungrier than ever. We're entering the prime years of our career. We feel like we're ready to put the work in to be one of the best at what we do, and we cannot wait to go out and show everyone all the hard work we've been putting in. Well,
you know, Rick, I have a special place for you in my heart as a human being and as an artist, and for your just the way that you bring, the way that you own your life, and that is something that I think is hopefully never overlooked, because grabbing a hold of not only your career, but embracing it in this positive light. It's something that in the industry, I know when I was in it was hard to find, and even being
they try to take it from you, man. They try to take your life from you. Look, you can always take your life back, and you can always be in control of it.
100%.
And that is very important. And some people do lose sight of that. And I'm glad that you said that, because it's the truth. You want to be self-aware, and you want to be responsible for yourself in a sense. A lot of people like to let other people. How many times in your career has some old 7-year-old label head or someone told an artist who they are? This is what you need to be, and this is who you are, and this is what I need to hear from you. And you lose yourself. Yeah, you lose yourself.
But you are found, and you are just blowing things up, man. And I appreciate that element of you and the band, and the way you are constantly there for your fans, and just a genuinely good human being. And it's a light during all of this, and the fact that you bring in the full on live show to the fans and
Swans, baby, where's the ones?
Oh man, and I just they need that. We need that, and I'm so glad that you are on the forefront of bringing that to people, because
we're going to deliver it. And I can't wait to get back out and see everyone. I can't wait to see you, my friend. I had a great time doing this. I just want to shout out our fans. Thank you guys for making our dreams come true. You guys are amazing. Anybody new listening to the podcast, check us out. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. I'm sure there's a song that's for you in there. It's very diverse. Go find your song. And everyone stay kind to each other. Let's stay distant. Let's get through this, and let's get back to life as we know it, and conquer all with love, man. It's important that we all keep our emotions in a positive place during this whole pandemic.
Absolutely. Rick, all the links for you guys, Spotify and Apple Music and your social medias, all be in the show notes of the podcast. So whatever platform you're listening on, you can just click below, and you can jump on board with Elliot His Way if you haven't been before. It's a ride that's it's a journey you're never going to want to get off of, man, because I've been on it for 11 years, and I'm happy to continue on it with you. And I appreciate the shit out of you, and I love you as a human being. Well. And take care of yourself and your family, and let's stay in touch, my friend.
I'll see you, brother. Thank you.
Much love, Rick. Take care, man.
See you.